Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife, and today we break down the most complicated handshake in the history of ever, and then at the end of the video I issue a challenge to the author of the video. Let's check it out, and let's break it down.
Handshaking.
There's dead silence as the 120-kilogram man hits the deck right out in awe. A case in point for the art of Kyoshu Jitsu. And it's all over in a couple of minutes.
What I did with the handshake basically is when I shook his hand, I entered some extra energy into the person. But I did something a little trickier. For many years, people have read about something called Ki Jitsu. And what that is learning to use sound to vibrate the body functions in a different pattern. Each one of our systems vibrates. Our electrical energy, our nervous system, it vibrates. If we make a sound and make a different vibration, we can alter that vibration in the other person. And as you saw when I shook his hand, I said a slight sound. You might not pick it up on the camera or hearing it. But what happened is that vibration just shook his nervous system in such a way that it unbalanced him and he could not stand anymore.
Alright, so with all the crazy that was stated, let's just start off with a few things and then we'll discuss a little bit more. But the first thing I really want to dive into is how ridiculous is this concept that somebody would need to shake someone's hand and knock them out at the same time. I mean, in what scenario would you ever need to knock someone out?
I'm going to shake your hand. I want to shake his hand. I want to shake his hand. I want to shake his hand. Pull me off the fucking plate. I want to shake his hand.
Okay, I stand corrected. Maybe sometimes you might need to knock somebody out and shake their hand at the same time. But we also know that this will never work on your brother for a simple fact that
brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug.
Brothers got a hug. But let's say hypothetically you're not being attacked by your brother, all right? And let's also say that there's not a crazy psycho guy who just wants to come at you shaking hands. The odds of this actually happening to you are like, I don't know, slim to none. Usually whenever somebody's grabbing your hand in such a manner, they might be posturing to like kind of pull you in, the old school like Trump style of pulling in for the handshake, or they might just be kind of like de-escalating the situation. Like usually that's the best way to go with a handshake. So the particular thought behind the actual technique, if it actually did work, is astronomically ridiculous. The next thing is who this gentleman is. So this guy's name is Evan Pantazzi, and he runs something called Kyoshu International, and he founded that, I do believe, back in 2003. And since then, you know, he's been in the martial arts for a very long time, and I'm not exactly sure what his credentials are, especially when it comes to his martial arts credentials. He says that he's been in martial arts for a very long time, but I'm not sure exactly what his ranks are in any of the other martial arts. I looked on his website, and it just seems to be saying that when he started what he did, it doesn't actually seem to state any ranks or titles. And I'm sure that he has some, one or two, I don't know, but at the end of the day, Kyoshu Jitsu is the skid mark on the underpants of the martial arts society. And this kind of nonsense where you're basically just giving your students some type of suggestive idea that they should fall down now is basically the equivalent of a magician. That's all you're really doing. It's not going to help you in self-defense. It's not going to be something that's going to be good for you. It's not going to help you unless you're just taking it for a grain of salt with the self-defense portion, and you're just taking all the other things like maybe the camaraderie and the respect and all that other stuff, which is nothing wrong with that, but I also find that it's completely immoral to go around teaching people that you can knock them out with sound waves when you can't. It's a fallacy, it's a fantasy, and what you're doing is you're going to get your students hurt, you're going to get people around you hurt. The dude's also done some really weird stuff where he's done like basically like a how to seduce people using pressure point techniques. That's videos out there. I'll post about that one later on down the road. You know, he's basically calls Kyoshu Jitsu, treats it like a cure-all. Like it's some type of supplementary art that you add to your art to make your art better. The only problem with that is when you take in new students to the art that you're already teaching, if Kyoshu Jitsu is a supplementary art, why do you take in new students if they need to go out and learn other arts? Unless, of course, you're certified in something other than Kyoshu Jitsu, and you can teach them that. But the idea behind a supplemental art is fairly ridiculous to me. I mean, I've seen people try to use Kyoshu Jitsu as the way, the art, and then also go to the lengths of saying that, yo, this is in everything that you do, because basically they've taken acupuncture points and they've labeled them and they use those particular points to add to their art to knock people out. But when you start trying to talk about knocking people out with your mind or sound waves, you're just a cult leader at that point. That's not going to happen. And again, I also, anytime I talk about Kyoshu Jitsu, whenever I bring up a video, I lay this out on the table. If you could do that exact thing to me, I will admit I'm wrong. Do that exact technique, that exact same thing, the exact same way, and I will admit that I am incorrect. I am completely 100% wrong. You are more than welcome to do that to me. I will not be combative. I will stand there and allow you to do so. As a matter of fact, we're doing a documentary about martial arts. I'd love to have you in that documentary, and I'd love for you to please prove me wrong. The offer's on the table. You're more than welcome to do so. Like I said, non-combative, just as a science experiment. So hopefully you take up the offer. If not, that's cool too. Thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, and all that other crap YouTube people tell you to do. Keep the martial arts legit.